Dear souls, we will talk about chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. The formal title is Dhyana Yoga, where Krishna talks about two themes. One is who is a yogi, and the second is who is a topmost yogi. Krishna says one who is attached to the fruits of his work. We all work, we get some facilities and money because of the work, but when somebody is not attached to those fruits, he is called a yogi. And second point is one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification, indriya tripti. We have senses like eyes, ears, tongue, etc. And we are always running after satisfying those senses. But a yogi refrains from that satisfaction. So for a neophyte or a beginner in Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means. And for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation or stoppage of material activities is said to be the means. So yogi acts neither for sense gratification nor for fruitive activities. Fruitive activity means when you do an activity, you get some fruit, but a yogi doesn't work for those fruits. However, he is fully satisfied by acquired knowledge and realization. So he is dwelling on the Dhyana, and he delivers himself with the help of his mind. So mind is either our friend or our enemy. So therefore, we need to conquer the mind. For somebody whose mind is a friend, the super soul is already reached. Happiness and distress, or heat and cold, honor and dishonor, they're all the same. Is not affected by them. But for one who has failed to do so, mind will remain the greatest enemy. So the yogi is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization, and he becomes still further advanced when he regards all types of people equally, like honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, somebody who's benefiting you, the neutral people, the mediators, the envious, some people who are envious against you, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners. So a yogi is able to tolerate all of these with an equal mind, equanimity of mind. And the yogi always engages his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. They go to a secluded place to purify the heart by controlling the senses, mind, and activities, not artificially, by fixing the mind on one point, Krishna. They are completely free from sex life. One should meditate upon Krishna, Krishna says, within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. So these mystic transcendentalists, they regulate their mind and they attain the kingdom of God or abode of Lord Krishna by ceasing material existence. So they put an end to this material existence. So how to become a yogi? If one eats too much or too little, no chance. One sleeps too much or too little, again cannot become a yogi. So essentially, yuktahara viharasya, regulation is the key. So Lord Krishna is saying we should be regulated in eating, sleeping, recreation, and work, and thereby mitigate all the material pains. And the yogi disciplines his mind and activities and becomes situated in transcendence. Devoid means without any material desires. For such a yogi, the mind is controlled and remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self, just as a lamp in the windless place does not waver. So if you put a lamp and there's no wind, it is very steadily burning. And such a state of perfection is called trance or samadhi. One's mind is completely restrained from material activities. And by in this way, the yogi achieves boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. So Lord Krishna reiterates, abandon all material desires born of mental speculation and control all the senses by the mind. So mental speculation means the mind is saying, maybe it is this way, maybe it is that way. So give up all those thoughts. And in this way, step by step, one should become situated in trance, the yogic trance, by means of buddhi or intelligence, sustained by full conviction that there is something higher and I will attain that higher destination, which is the abode of Lord Krishna. So now, Swami Prabhupada translates Lord Krishna's teachings on who is the topmost yogi, and Lord himself is giving his opinion. One must certainly withdraw mind and bring it under the control of the self, right? So mind is superior to senses, but mind also wavers sometimes. So we should bring it under the control of the self or Atma. Firstly, buddhi, and then gradually through the soul itself. So, such a yogi, the topmost yogi, realizes his quantitative identity with the Supreme, qualitative identity with the Supreme, and he is freed from all reactions to the past deeds. So, the past karma starts burning away, and the yogi is free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in loving service, transcendental loving service, Trigunatita, which is above mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the true yogi observes Krishna in all beings and also sees every being in Krishna. And for one who sees Krishna everywhere and sees everything in Krishna, he is never lost and nor is lost to Krishna. So such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of Super Soul, knowing that the Super Soul Paramatma and Krishna are one, remains always in Krishna. Such a yogi sees true equality of all beings in happiness as well as distress. At this point, Arjuna said, "Oh, this yoga process that you describe, Krishna, is very, very impractical. What do you want me to do? And it is also unendurable, means I cannot do it. Maybe I can do it once, but I cannot keep on doing it because my mind is restless and unsteady." And he gives more qualification. Mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. And it's more difficult than controlling the wind. At this point, Lord Krishna said that control is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So, Lord says, whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. At this point, Arjuna says, what is the destination of an unsuccessful transcendentalist, Trigunatitas, who crossed over the three modes? And what happens to those who later desist due to worldly mindedness and does not achieve perfection? So sometimes people start devotional life and then they give it up. So what happens to those people? Will he fall away from spiritual and material success? And is asking his guru, Krishna, to dispel his doubts. And Krishna replied, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. So he may fall temporarily down, but the unsuccessful yogi, after short practice of yoga for many, many years of enjoyment on the planet. So when you do short practice of yoga, proper yoga, which is aligning with Lord Supreme Lord Krishna, then you go to the planets of pious living entities, higher planets, also known as heavenly planets. And then they are born into family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy, so that they don't have to worry about their daily bread. They can continue their yoga practice. However, if somebody is unsuccessful after long practice, he takes birth in the family of transcendentalists. Yet it is very rare. So, in very, very pious families, transcendental families who are seeking self realization, God realization, and liberation. And when he takes birth like that, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life and again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. And how does this happen? He automatically becomes attracted by yogic principles even without seeking them. So his natural inclination from his previous life will guide him. And what they do is, after many, many births of such practice, they attain the supreme goal. So then the Lord concludes, a yogi is greater than an ascetic. Simply somebody is doing austerities and doing some, meditation in the forest. Greater than the empiricist, the Jnana yogis, the Jnanis who just focus on empiricism and knowledge, and greater than the fruitive workers, the karmis, who are just working like donkeys just to earn their daily bread. And then finally, Lord concludes, of all the yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving devotional service to me. He is the most intimately united with me or Krishna in yoga and is highest of all. So Lord gives in conclusion 3 points. And these are the three take-home points. With great faith who abides in me means always, working for Lord Krishna, thinks of Lord Krishna within himself as Paramatma, and renders loving service or bhakti to the Lord. So a great example of that is Swami Prabhupada. He was born in a family of transcendentalists. He continued his journey, and not only himself, but he's taking tens of millions of people along with him back home, back to Godhead. So practice this form of yoga. We'll meet again in chapter 7 next time. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy, and get liberated at the end of this life. Thank you very much.